30 WTI crude pairing gains at this early trade session. So it's currently up to 8-9% on the leg down.
Are you even broadcasting right now? No? I don't know. Go live? I don't think that's good. I don't think I'm supposed to touch anything. Stupid guys.
Hey, Nico, good morning.
It's not Nico.
No, I'm looking in the chat.
Oh. It's the Lord.
The Lord and Savior.
What's the story, Rancho?
I'm glad that I sidestepped yesterday.
What do you mean sidestep? I don't even know what you have going on. Between you and Lucci, I can't keep up, but...
No, the reason I didn't trade yesterday is
not trade at all.
I was too bared up, right? I was like, and I knew Jay Powell was going to speak and we had those numbers. I was like, we're probably going to snap back, but my mindset is already, these moves need to finish to those areas where they're going to bounce. I was like, I just need to get away because I know I'm going to screw it up.
Are we on broadcasting right now?
I think
so.
you're getting dialed up.
What?
So Nico's telling me that the chat is the one that he's got going is a private chat. So I'm shouting out and it's all good. Let me go to.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here, I didn't share any screen or anything. Oh, I see you though. I see you now. All right, that's good.
Yeah, so I think Nico and or Matt are running. You know, they're like producing the show, right? They're able to
cool.
This back and forth.
Better. I like it.
Yeah. This is a little easier than, not that OBS was difficult. It was just it was a pain. I was like, I just don't want to start flipping through all that stuff.
No. Can you imagine me and you on there trying to figure that shit out? Forget it.
It's just too much. It's like just
trying
because.
to look at the market at the same time. God, my head will fall.
Question I'm going to shout out to Nico though is even if I share my if I'm trying to share my screen, I'm not finding on here. Well, it's my Chrome tab. So let me jump on to. So if I want to share my trading view. So Nico, you have the trading view up.
Why is this not updating?
Yeah, you got it. So I'm assuming, Nico, that you're just going to toggle back and forth. If I want to show my screen, you'll show like my trading view chart, then you'll have me off to the right. Yeah, okay, sounds good. And then I also see on the right-hand side, this is where people are chatting. So is this a combination of YouTube plus Twitch, or is it just YouTube, or how's that working? I got one of my 4 CPUs running an update too, so never fun right before market opens. Jace, what do you got going? What are you looking at this morning?
No, I want to see if we can find some further leg besides the excitement off the open.
Yeah.
So we'll see how things look. Yesterday action was a little. I know you weren't around, but yesterday the action was a little better.
Yep.
You can almost see like shorts looking to cover ahead of, like you were mentioning, Powell at 4 o'clock and stuff like that, and the PCE this morning, which were probably more traders afraid of that than Powell himself. So. Yeah, the PCE came in lighter on the lighter side, so that's why you got a little extra boost out of things this morning. So that's basically it. We'll see if whether the flow trickles into the underbelly. Again, after you get a little excitement in the first half hour, then once things settle down, if they continue, if it still looks bullish out there, you got some more to go. If not, this market can give a lot of it back. So
Yeah, it looks like, SPY is right at its 8 EMA. So I want to see if they can continue to push it, or are they gonna, rug pull it here? So
yeah, what's crazy too, and it just lined up into the PC perfect, like you say all the time. It's almost like they got a remote control.
Yeah.
It doesn't always play out like that, but more than not, the gap. You had the gap, you had a downside niner, you had all those things basically line up into the Friday, and then you get a little bounce, right?
Yep.
Like here's SPX and ES. Hold up. Why is this thing not lighting up? Hold up. Oh, I could have it on SPX. But what are you looking for the reshort yet, or you?
No. I want to see what happens. Listen, I'm more than, if this thing is just like a V-shaped recovery, I'm going to be stoked, right?
Right.
But if they decide they want to pull a rug here, they can. Like I'm taking a look at the broad market, plus I'm looking at what I like to trade, and I'm interested in Amazon because long term I'd love to add to the position. If I look left on a chart, there's some structure, but overhead the technicals are not good. So I'm not compelled to add, but I'm looking for a short term trade to just continue to throw some more cash in the bank on it.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of these names had nice. AMD had a nice. The semis in general looked alive the past couple of days.
That's a nice well to dip into, right?
Yeah.
Was it Microsoft spoke highly of AMD? Also on a lot of these pops, especially like in AMD, because it's been a squirrely performer, I look to that as an opportunity to potentially short that pop.
Which name?
AMD.
AMD, yeah.
I feel better about trading a name like NVIDIA to the upside versus an AMD, where if they get a pop, I'm more suspect of a pullback in AMD than I am in NVIDIA.
Yeah, AMD looks tricky here.
Mm-hmm. But they're all at these quote unquote technical levels where they could do something opposite. For the uninitiated, you can catch a lot of traders at areas where mentally they think they've got an advantage to the upside, but they don't see, acknowledge, or believe in things like technical averages, and that's to their own detriment to at least not acknowledge and or recognize that they're at a spot where things could change. That's a mistake most novice traders will make.
What time is it here? 9:18. So what other? Let me see what any other names we're looking to see OI changes on. I'm trying to think. I posted a few of them in the market updates already. If you want,
I added to my long-term Costco after earnings. So I had bought protection, and it looked like I was going to make some money on the protection. And as soon as they opened it, they just burned it. So not a big deal because I made, the appreciation to the upside on the leaps that are already there are good. So I added to that position long term. And Costco it continues to perform. So I'm good with it. Like that's a better trade than, I thought Amazon was going to be similar. Costco has been a monster. So I'm good with it.
Matt, is that good?
They want me to check my video quality. So video standard, full high definition. Let's try that. How's that, Nico? Is that better? Okay.
I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm getting.
So, Nico, share my screen. You need me to hit the plus button. Is that right? Or am I good? I'm good. Okay. I don't know if you got Nico. I don't know if you heard the question or not, but what I see on the right-hand side, is that just YouTube or is that a combo of YouTube and Twitch?
It's pulling both in.
Okay, it's pulling both in. Gotcha. That makes life a lot easier too. Now I can actually see your comments. And I'm going to move this to another side of, makes it easier for me. And I can go delete this. And I can stop watching YouTube videos about how to manipulate my OBS, which will uncomplicate my life, which I enjoy.
Yeah, that OBS was a struggle for me.
It's just one more thing to learn, right? I'm like, just because I can appreciate food without having to be, the cook.
Yeah, I was scared to touch or close anything down. Anytime I close something by accident, then
I just saw it as a time suck. I was like, I would rather be doing other things than learning how to turn the dials on the freaking stove here. Like, come on.
I guess Lucci likes it because it has so many different features, right? And he can do so many different things with it. I mean, you got to be a little tech savvy. Where I'm not going to put you in my class, but yeah, that's not my speed, obviously.
I don't mind it, but I've got to be motivated, and I wasn't
Motivated.
I was like, I don't. This is something I don't want to learn. So
Yeah, definitely not. What were the other names of it? Let me see. What other names could I actually want to see the open interest?
So what is today is the 29th. So we got international trade and goods is out, personal income and outlays is out. Chicago PMI is at 945 and consumer sentiment is at 10. Less important, obviously, at the end of the week than the other stuff we already have had. And then you got a Fed head, John Williams, speaking at 1245. So just some things to note. Not that they'll be of crazy importance, but it is noteworthy. Let me put some different lights on.
weird. There's one sound I'm getting feedback, and that's the only sound that I'm getting feedback from. How is that possible? Well, as long as it's not my voice giving the feedback, I don't care. Let me just shut that sound off.
Is Lucci's out today?
He's in Florida, right? He's in
Yeah, Tampa or Orlando?
Orlando, yeah.
Orlando. Somebody please tell me why I care about Costco selling gold bars. Like I'm getting a bunch of comments like I'm investing in Costco because they're selling gold. Like I didn't even know that until I just scanned a headline. Like, why do I care? Can somebody explain that?
If anything, it tells you about the little gold bubble. If
What are
anything.
you supposed to? Okay, let's say you buy some gold. What are you going to do with it? Are you going
Collect
to
it.
you're
Yeah.
going to physically hold it?
You don't remember what they were doing in 08? I knew people were taking gold bars, sticking it in safe and under their mattress, thinking everything was going to blow up. You know, you got a lot of people thinking, where we're thinking the dollar was about to blow up, and now you had a massive squeeze.
I mean, you know, what's going to be better currency than ammunition and water if that happens?
Yes.
Gold's not going to do you a hell of a lot of good for somebody
They've
who
been
puts
loading up on that too.
grain.
They've been loading up on ammunition as well. Looks like somebody rolled out some VIX calls, October to January. Size. Well, they might be cheap at 45.
Why would you roll calls here?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
You know, yesterday they rolled them out. They were Octobers, and I guess for more time.
Yeah, no, that's I'm all good with that. I was, you know, it's like why would you roll as it's coming down? You want to roll as it's going up.
Yeah. VIX was green to start the day yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what the main tailwind behind yesterday's squeeze.
Okay.
Sold it off.
All right, so ES is set to open just below the 8 EMA. Same thing with SPY. So I'm going to be interested to see if they catch people off sides here. If, you know, they flip a little to these guys early in the morning, you get a little pullback and then it goes, or are they just going to flip to these guys and hit them over the head and bring SPY right back down to this 426 level? We'll see.
So we're officially getting a government shutdown, I take?
No clue.
Yeah. And if it lasted the next week, there'd be no economic numbers, none of that shit.
Might make my life a little easier.
Yeah, less noise. These are gaps. Yeah, these are gaps.
You got a nice gap up on Nike. I'm suspicious of that gap as well. You might look at some other retail, like Lulu. That's probably getting some sympathy. Ralph Lauren, RL, you might get some sympathy there. Macy's, you might get some sympathy there. And at the same time, on a pop-up like a Nike, I look at it and I think, can I short it? Just because the big picture says it's in a downtrend. So, hey, great, you got a pop. Things might be better, but Can I catch it for a short? Maybe. We'll see. I'm usually not good. Nike used to be such a good trading stock, and it stopped being a good trading stock like 2 years ago.
Flat out awful.
Yeah. Boeing has been garbage. And it gap filled yesterday. So yesterday it filled a gap that dated all the way back to December, the end of December 22. So pretty interesting that it filled that gap. So if it can start trading sideways again, I'm interested in playing the iron condor game on it again. Here I can't do much with it, except for consider it maybe for short again. All right, here we go. Let's see what they come after. After Tesla. They pop up right to 8 EMA, right into overhead resistance technically. Can they sell it off, fill the gap, and then go? Or is this stuff just going to gap up? Same thing with SPY. Gap up right to the 8 EMA. Let's see what they do. Semis pop up and stall. Let's see. The one that I like on pullbacks more than any of the others, at least for right now, is Applied Materials. It's held up really well.
We'll hear the free speech challenges to social media laws.
Microsoft to the 8 and pulling.
Social media law.
Costco looking fine. Netflix a little pop up, not even to the 8.
The copyright case over damages limits, Whiskey Michael Golf.
Interesting. The CVNA yesterday got all the way down to where that insider was buying it, and they defended it. Pretty interesting.
Carvana.
Yep.
Order music shares, and we're pushing a little higher on this. The state of Nevada releasing their August gaming revenue. Statewide gaming revenue was essentially flat, up 0.07%. On the strip, it was up a little more than 1%. Monthly gaming take for the state of Nevada being released.
He's got a lot to say this morning.
Yeah, he's perky. When he's perky, he can give you a big headache.
Chatty, annoying chatty. Oh, Silvers, you took that? Silvers took the Nike 92.5 October calls, 230 to 710. That's a freaking awesome trade.
Oh, he rolled the dice at the earnings?
Yeah. Oh, sweeper. Wait, the sweeper came in late yesterday? Like, what happened with that?
I didn't pay attention because of earnings. I don't know. But
Okay, Silvers is saying he saw a fat buy divergence on MACD, so he took a shot. That was a nice trade.
That was a nice contrarian play there.
Good for you, dude. Good for you. I can't take those. I'm not man enough to take those.
Pretty quiet here at the start.
Yeah, so Nicholas talking about Carvana. You went to a Carvana location in Las Vegas last week, and what a joke. Yeah, for sure. Like I don't have any attachment to the stock whatsoever. It's simply a trade, and what's noteworthy to me in a trade like that is an insider. The CEO put $116 million to work at $37. So if the stock comes down to that area and they defend it, it sets up for a trade. I think Carvana is kind of a joke too, but I'm looking at it only from a a trade standpoint. I don't care about the, you know, the fundamentals or the fact that it's a car dispenser. You know, it's a Pez dispenser for cars. Like none of that stuff is even on my mind. I'm only looking for, can I scalp it? Can I make some money? That's it.
You got a little Apple for October 6th. I guess that's next week. 175 calls.
I mean, I can't say that I hate it, but technically it's still, Apple still looks like poop, right?
Poop. It could be even pushing out weeklies there. So what do we got here? VIX is down a stick. Yields lower. So things look okay early on here.
Oh, look at this Tesla challenging this little band. So if they can get some momentum going here, it's not a bad idea from a scalp standpoint. But there's a lot of resistance here. So if you're somebody that chases, you got to use some caution. I'm going to zoom in on this and see if I can. Let me just set some VWAP here.
VWAP.
VWAP. Okay, there's that. Chase the gap or wait for VWAP. See, this is all little areas in here of resistance. So when you show up late to a trade, and or if you're a quote unquote breakout trader, oftentimes what happens is you will get flipped stock, because that's a good place for people who are holding to unload it, and you're excited to chase it or trade it because it's breaking a technical area and it can be sketchy. You can find trouble in those spots. What's this Amazon doing here? Looking better. Costco. Pulling back a little bit. Semis, little pull. Tap and pull. Nike pulling. I might consider some Nike puts here.
Micron, little bull flow, MU, same day expiration at the money, 67.
I don't want shares, fellas. I want option contracts. Volume. Yeah, there's a lot of volume in the Nike puts on the 96 and 95 lines. Those of you who are interested, I might look at these 96s and see if that is going to be something that materializes. I don't mind taking a few here, and let me just go ahead and mark some anchors on a very short time frame. Remember, this is a scalp. I'm going to put that there. So if I take a scalp here, this is my area 97.42, where I need to make a decision whether I'm going to stick around or cut it. If I'm more patient, I'll wait and see if that area gets hit before I start buying some puts. So let's see if we get a little push up. If not, I'll just go ahead and jump into some. But I'm going to see if I can wait this out and get ideal pricing or better picture of what's going to happen. But there's a nice gap to fill on Nike. Even if it doesn't fill the whole thing, you could get a nice little flush out of it. Okay, here's your pop on it.
Oh yeah, I keep that little feedback. It looks like sweepers are in wait and see mode here.
Yeah, I get that sense too. All right, here's your pop on Nike. So this is where I want to decide whether I want to take some or not. if I do, I've got to give this thing to like 98 if I'm going to cut, and it might not work. So that's trading.
You got a little more Micron, same day expo. MU. VIX lows of the morning. Credit looking okay.
It's twice on Micron. Today's 67s.
Yeah.
Okay. Edgar, I'm just looking for a scalp. I don't care about the long term.
You got the PMI coming out 5 minutes here.
Say it again.
PMI, 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'll wait it out. I'll wait it out for 5 minutes. I can do that.
What's crude doing today? Crude down a little, well, down small. You got Amazon seeing a little October 6th call activity.
Good.
The 130s.
All right, let me see if I can.
White House Council of Economic Advisors Brainerd on CNBC for an interview. Brainerd saying today's core PC data is absolutely good news.
Absolutely.
As he says in his flat monotone voice, it is absolutely good news. You should all go long.
Walgreens WBA reportedly looking at a former Cigna executive, Wentworth, for CEO, but no final decision has been made. Whiskey Bravo Alpha.
You got AMD that is looking to fill the gap. And then maybe anywhere in here, if you might be able to catch that thing for a bounce. But let's just throw a little VWAP on it. Boom. Okay, so you got some slop there. So look for that. And let's take a look at. Little MACD on here and get an idea. Okay.
NVIDIA, puts, same day puts.
NVIDIA?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Interessante.
Brainerd goes on to say that they've seen continued job creation as inflation has come down, which is clearly a positive thing.
Okay, I'm still got this Nike out of the corner of my eye. And so now the 97 line is in play for this week too. So you got 97, 96, 95, all lighting up with good size volume.
Let me post the line for you.
Yeah. On the call side, they're slugging it out too. You got a big line on the 100s, but the more it kind of flags out here, I don't know. It's like it wants to drop out. We'll see.
Just a reminder, we're going to get the Chicago M&I print at the quarter hour, looking for 47.6. Subscribers usually have that number in hand a few minutes before it hits embargo. I'm looking for 47.6 with Chicago PMI.
All right, is that out of the way yet?
No, not yet. 1 minute. I gotta refresh this shit. I don't know what the problem is.
Let's go. I need to start clicking the mouse.
Click the mouse. Now it's up.
All right, let's take a look at SPY here.
What the hell? My shit just froze here.
SPY's got a nice gap to fill this morning too.
44.1, 44.
Somebody asking me about Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't trade stocks
Saying any government shutdown rule.
below $5. I usually don't have an interest.
Impacts on their weekly
Technically,
reports.
you can make an argument for a bounce. I don't like penny stocks though. And if you've ever been into one of their stores, it's like it's an ADHD mess. It looks like I organized the store.
All right. Having some technical difficulties here.
Go and adjust the rabbit ears on your set.
Seriously.
Get some more aluminum foil for it.
What the fuck? Story of my life.
Anybody trade Super Micro? That made a beautiful move right to the
Oh
50.
yeah, I saw that yesterday.
That is very nice. Microsoft having that's a nice gap up. So I'm still looking at all this stuff with a suspicious eye. Boeing looks like crap still. So does Lockheed. Costco pulling back to a bigger picture fib. So they're all in spots. Where I'm going to look for some fade. CRM, nice move up to the 8. Carvana to the 8 and fade. ES to the 8. Everything's in a spot. This SPY looks weak. And I might, I'm going to keep an eye on this SPY because that might be my area to trade today. We'll see.
Crude futures finding their way all the way to negative territory now, 91.56. You've seen the rollover in crude futures. This did coincide with a geopolitical report saying that Saudi Arabia is determined to secure a military security pact with the U.S., even if Israel doesn't offer any major concessions to the Palestinians.
And you got PLTR October 13th, 16.5
We've
calls.
seen reports throughout the month
I
that
see you got some CCJ puts finally starting to hit after that ridiculous run.
Yeah, it looks like you got calls and puts going off there. They might be just rolling stuff.
Rolling with the homies.
PLTR, you got about 6,300 on that line. Looks like they could be pushing out some weekly exposure within that.
Okay.
Little buying coming into a couple things, mostly same day expo here.
20 minutes or so into the trading session, stocks are backing off for the Dow and the S&P, but the NASDAQ near the highs of the day up 160 points. The Russell 2000 up 0.6%. We've seen a bounce here for the dollar index, 105.97, pushing back towards 106. The US 10-year yield at 4.52%, the 2-year just below 5.03%.
All right, so this Tesla is right in an area nestled right up against some resistance. This is a daily chart I've got up. So the anchors are anchored off of this most recent high. You've got the 8, which is the staircase line. You've got the 21, which is this lime green line, and this anchor. And then you've got the anchor from the low, all converged in one spot. So if I zoom in on this, I am looking for change in character and or tape right here at this level, which is at the 250, call it 253 area. Right now you're at 252.43. So if they can push through this, I'd look for a pop. If they can't, I'm going to look for a fade. So that's probably where I'm going to spend a little bit of time here and see if I can find an entry. And I'm going to get rid of this. Now I'm on a 1-minute chart. I'm going to get rid of this. This is your VWAP right here, this white line. These are the other averages that I'm talking about. So see how it's kind of bumping its head right here. This is what I'm looking for to see if I can find some change
Down here, if you want CNBC.
and or sweepers. And this is going to be an easier trade for me than the Nike is. Nike's going to make me wait. I don't have patience for that.
Yeah, the VIX still weak. No bearish tailwind involved.
Bear tails.
Just yeah, they don't seem too excited. You got some same day expiration activity like an MU chasing strength, but they don't seem overly excited here. We got the Dow up 60. That's it. Yeah. So they're just buying what they've been selling, basically.
Some Google puts there, huh? 133s.
Oh, I didn't see that. 130, same day expiration, 133 puts.
Micron again. So that's is that the third?
Yeah. Micron is seeing some decent same day expiration.
All right, maybe I need to pay attention to Micron. Let's see. Oh, look at that. On a technical, see, that's why these technicals matter. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you're right here at the 50-day moving average. You're right at the 8 EMA. Just above it is a 21. So right in here is a zone where they can catch you. They can flip some stock to you, and you can sit there and have a nice little loss and get shaken out, and then they can make it go. Let's take a look at the microns.
VIX seeing a little more selling.
Okay, that's good for the upside.
It looks like semis, I don't know which semis, but semis as a whole leading a bit today.
They're doing okay. They're right. They're bumping their heads against these averages. I would like to see them break through the averages. And the more Micron I see sweeping and getting hit, the more encouraged I am for the other semis. But you either have to wait and see, or you take risk here. Let me do a little workup on Micron here. Here's your VWAP. Okay, I don't mind to push higher here. So you want to play some of that. Now you got a little gap fill here, so just watch out.
A little more PLPR.
If they do pop it here, you're in good shape. 68 calls for today, has a lot of volume. I still got nothing so far. Still no trades yet. Kicking around the Nike idea, kicking around the Tesla idea, kicking around the Amazon idea. The Micron idea to a lesser extent, I would look for a different semiconductor. I like applied materials, so I might look at some applied materials here.
Nice 3D bounce.
That's low to work with from here. Now you're at highs. All right, let's take a look at applied materials.
All right, so you got Michigan Sediment coming up in 5 minutes, and then we're done.
STSS announcing the closing of a $5.6 million registered direct offering, Sierra Tango, Sierra Sierra. Just a reminder here at the top of the hour, looking out for some more data. We're going to get the final reading of the September University of Michigan sentiment, expected to stay at 67.7, with expectations expected to tick up slightly to 66.4, and current conditions to hold at 69.8. It'll also be accompanied by the 1 and 5 to 10-year inflation reading. Inflation expectations on the 1 year expected up 0.1 to 3.2%, and on the 5 to 10-year horizon up 0.1 to 2.8%. Again, final University of Michigan. And it is worth pointing out we will likely see some headlines in the next few minutes to a half hour from the UAW. The UAW's opinion is speculated to announce additional facilities to go out on strike as the labor negotiations continue there. Last week, you recall, he did announce additional facilities at Stellantis and General Motors, but held off on announcing any new facilities for Ford, as it indicated that talks were making a bit more progress with Ford. Yesterday, we did see press release reports circulate that the UAW had lost that 40% wage hike as part of their package of requests.
All right, I'm going to play some applied materials here for a push. I'm looking at the 142 calls. I'll get a 10 lot starter here and see how we do. See if we push higher. If not, I'm going to have to just take it off and wait. But if semis are going to continue to push and they keep hitting this Micron, I don't mind the extension.
Oh, I'm just posting the same thing again. This is the most annoying thing in my life right now.
What's that?
No, it's on my end. I try to post a chart, it keeps posting the same thing that I posted an hour ago. There we go. All right. Again, you got economic numbers. Michigan sentiment coming out 3 minutes. They're selling the VIX ahead of it. And Sweeter's active in a few things, but this is, again, VIX is the primary tailwind here, and we probably will end up running into overheated anti-VIX at some point if this continues.
Okay, so on this applied materials, I'm looking to see maybe 143 gets a bid here. That's your short-term picture upside. Big term, you're looking at like this. There's, I don't know, maybe you got a shot here. Well, I said 143, so maybe you get a shot to 143. The name generally performs well on pullbacks. This is late, but this is a scalp, and this is at the highs. So this trade carries a lot of short-term risk and needs continuation to work. Otherwise, I have to take it off. And with Theta today being an expo day, would likely put me in a loss situation, but I don't mind. A lot of times when you get this pullback and a pushback up to the highs, what they'll do is they'll get an extension, or they'll fake you out with an extension and just pull it back to the VWAPs, which would signal to me, hey, you just got the entry wrong, and then I'd look to regroup and see if I can get it again.
Walgreens.
Again, we're 15 seconds to the final release of the University of Michigan sentiment reading, looking for 67.7. $68.1 above the 67.7 expected, 71.4 for current conditions, also above expectations. Expectations at 66.0 below the 66.4 expected. And the 1-year inflation at 3.2% in line with expectations, and 5 to 10 year at 2.8% also in line with expectations.
So the inflationary part of that number in line.
I'm glad he got so excited about it.
ECB's Villeroy saying recent volatility in the market for the long bond has
Not done yet? Come on.
excessive.
Let's see what this anti-VIX looks like when it updates. Look at what they did to this VIX. Unbelievable.
Typical.
Yep.
And more from ECB's Villeroy saying data today confirmed that current level of our key interest rate is appropriate.
Oh my God, shut him up.
Volatility has been somewhat excessive. Declining inflation shows ECB policy has been effective.
You got a CCL getting a little play post earnings.
Today's data, talking about the inflation data, CPI data raises confidence that inflation is moving towards the 2% goal by 2025.
Okay, so the applied material is not working. So I was looking for an extension, not going to get it. They'll probably pull this thing back to VWAP, and then maybe I get another shot at it.
Strikes will be at the Stellantis, GM, and Ford plants, so they are expanding strikes at Ford reportedly after the contracts failed to reach any significant results.
Credit confirming the early squeeze. Everything still looks good squeezy wise.
This over Tesla. Shit. See, I go screw around with applied materials, and Tesla says, thank you very much. See you later. All right, let's see on the bigger picture here. Yeah, so nice spike up above the 21. You know, your guy freaking in the background is like when you're playing tennis and you're playing with a partner that likes to freaking holler when you're in your freaking backswing and you fuck up the shot because you think he wants you to do something like.
Now I know that's
kind of
golf.
background, Chris.
That's in golf, not tennis. Okay.
It happens in tennis too. Trust me.
40 billion euros from the domestic market in December from Turkey.
All right, let's see if they still have appetite for this Tesla up here.
AVTR, that's that biotech we've seen action in from time to time, Jan 22.5.
note, Governor Hochul has declared a state of emergency for the New York City area,
What?
likely due to the excessive rains.
State of emergency because of the rain in New York?
What about rain in New York?
State of emergency. I guess we're getting a lot of rain. That's why maybe my my shit's effed up here. It's gotta be in weather.
All right, so if I'm going to take some Tesla along here, I have to understand that it comes with a lot of risk. But if they push it, we'll make a little money here.
VIX at the lows, they continue to sell. VVIX at the lows.
See, as long as they do that, every kind of little pullback on stuff is probably going to be a good spot to take a shot at some long. Okay, let's see if we get some pull on the Tesla here.
Squeezometer bumps up to 49. That 3 handle again we had.
Yeah, what did we get to? Did we get to 38 or
38, 39, something like that.
Those are almost always, you can almost always just take a little SPY long a few weeks out.
Even if you're a little early, you usually get bailed out, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
URA Aprils. That's uranium, the ETF, the first ETF they started to buy, some April buying.
What's your calls?
Uranium was down.
Right. Okay, that lines up with a 236. Let's move this down. Maybe you get a 50% retrace. It'll be right at the VWAP. Not ironic. See how strong you are today, Tesla.
Was it up?
No, it's pulling back. I'm looking for a spot to see where it's going to bounce because if they're coming after it, if it's going to be an up day, I'm looking for spots where I want to take some risk.
This is a risk. So that AVTR for you biotech fans, that looks like a risk reversal there. So they're selling the Jan 20s to buy those 22.5s that were swept for 300 grand. Wait, is that a biotech? No, it's not a biotech. I keep saying it's a biotech. It's a chemical name. What is that shit? I feel like I got deja vu. I feel like I ask this every time.
Additional details here. The UAW just strike at 3 more Stellantis, GM, and Ford assembly plants. Getting a little bit more color here.
So that's your top action of the morning. Everything else is more momentum squeeze type action. Spread out and like PLTR probably the best of it for I think it's next week's calls or the week after, and you got Micron, a few other names seeing some action, same day expo action. But the majority of the flow squeeze activity so far.
Silver's telling me to check out Adobe.
I gotta refresh this.
All right, nice move on Adobe. Silvers, are you in that?
Adobe. Let's see if that helps. I gotta figure this out this weekend. All right, let's check while I'm waiting on that.
Oh, sorry.
Anti-VIX right on the goal line, the red zone.
I did not see. You probably sent. Did you send me a DM?
Me?
No, I'm talking to Silvers. No, you just tagged me. I didn't see it, Silvers. I was busy looking at other shit.
And again, that's the problem when the VIX is the main driver of things. You get to extremes. Now, there's always a chance they run through it if it's a strong squeeze for the day, but you run the risk of chop or rinse.
Or a Carnival on earnings conference call.
But you usually get that when you get these complete washouts. Like this.
All right, here's where I'm interested potentially in grabbing some Tesla again. This is another area where it was just resistance. Now is it support? So I don't mind taking a little risk here to see if we get some bounce.
Foot Locker. That's probably what the Nike. Let's see. Here are the Tesla active lines. I saw a little rolling a little bit ago. I didn't see, I think there were a couple little sweeps.
I got some 255 calls for this week, today.
Today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just scalping here.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering if I missed anything.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's see. This is an anchor off of this most recent little high. So can they push through it? If they can, I'm going to look for them to recapture the highs. If they can't, then I'll have a small loss and I'll step out of the way and see if I can find another spot
For
to
Hungary,
re-engage.
they're posting a first half 2023 loss of 999 billion Hungarian forint. Hungary.
And if it doesn't, we'll know we're probably looking at some range bound shit, right?
Yep.
Dukes.
You hear her? She started snoring already.
Snoring it up.
Well, it is Friday. She had a rough week. I had a long week, Dukes. Well, she got her name. She woke up.
No, Citigroup CEO on TBC now.
All right, looks like things settling down as they usually do around this time.
Yep. Yeah, this Tesla's not working either. So
Maybe we run into a little choppy waters here.
yeah, exactly.
As long as conditions remain okay, right? As long as there's no bear tailwind out there, we look for things to play.
Yeah.
That's basically it. I mean, worst case scenario, we get scratched up a bit, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No big deal. Like after the week that I had, I'm trading smaller size until I can find some good spots.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to give any back.
I don't blame you. That's bearish side money too. You gotta hang on to that shit when you get
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure.
CEO Fraser saying that she is focused on simplifying
The market doesn't. The market guys, they don't like to give that away on the bearish side, right?
No, they don't. And when they do, they seek to regain it.
Yeah, and then some. Rivian bearish now. They were playing the bullish side for a couple of days. Geo cheap. Let me post the active lines one more time for you guys. It's going to be all weeklies, but maybe you guys see something in the larger names that I don't.
Sometimes this shit's easy for whatever your style is, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, we were talking about that on yesterday, the webinar.
This reorganization.
Sometimes the market gives away some money, and most of the time it's looks to take it.
Yeah, it makes you work, right?
Yeah.
On the days when it's when it's in your favor, you just recognize it and you take it. And on the days when you're not so sure, if you limit your size, you can keep your losses small while figuring out where your entries and exits are.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I noticed too. It was an issue for me, but not as much as I've seen others. You know, every trader in this game has different things they battle, but being able to take those scratch losses is not. Some people have trouble with that. They want, they want to get lucky and have it turn into a winner, and that's when you run into trouble. Citigroup CEO on CNBC. I don't even watch CNBC anymore. I can't remember the last time I had that thing on.
No, I don't watch it anyway. It's been years.
Yeah, I can't.
It's not even worth your time.
Macy's. Got a little Macy's bull flow. Who the hell wants to buy Macy's?
That to me seems like it's sympathy from Nike.
Yeah, maybe.
Just retail generally. That's it.
Yeah, and could be actually a short hedging off Nike.
Nice little pop in Tesla here, finally.
Wow, that looks awful, Macy's. Little bounce in the fear greed, which got down to pretty low level the other day.
So if they can't sustain it, like this Tesla right now is fine, but if they can't sustain it and take out these highs, then I need to look at it with some suspicion. And maybe it's a better short scalp, but I don't mind scalping it for 20, 30 cents here and there.
Bigger CEO just saying investors will see changes in the coming quarters and for the numbers related to this restructuring. and that they will be bending the expense curve in Q4.
Let's take a look at the Netflix.
Netflix bounce?
No, I mean, so somebody talking about the rejection play was easy. I was like, well, you know, it's not up near the 8 was certainly not a bad place to take some risk for a pullback, just because the overall trend is down. So yeah, that's a good place to take risk for sure. And then you got potential gap fill from yesterday down to 376.68. So if you caught it close to its highs, you've kind of earned the right to just hang around and stay in it and see if you get gap fill. And if it doesn't do that, then you take your profits and you call it a good day. Tesla seems to be rejecting. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I've just, all I've done on the Tesla is just quick scalp, right? Just little 10 lots here and there. So I bought a 10 lot down here off of this area. And then on this pop, when it didn't continue, I just took it off. So I traded that from $1.06 on the 255 calls to $1.38. And that's just a 10 lot. So I'm just poking around to see if I can find if this is the spot or not. I don't feel comfortable after the run that it's had and in an area where I can, you know, whip around, throw 100 lots around. That's not my idea of a good time, but I'll do 10 lots to see if I can figure it out. And if I can, then I can get long, bigger size. Like I can't do it in a zone like this. It's not as easy. So Nico, do you need me to do anything, or are you doing it all on your end? Okay, so guys, I think Nico is close to ending the public stream. So if you want more of what we do, come and join us at the Steam Room. Matt will put up a link. You get a free trial for 14 days, or is it a trial for a ridiculous sum of money? I forget which.
14 days, huh? That's a long trial.
It's $8, a whopping $8.
$8 for 2 weeks?
Yeah. $7.99.
Huh. Oh, there's the buddy. I heard him.
Yeah. They're up. They're awake.
You know what I wanted you to take a peek at, if you got a minute, Ron Carroll?
Yeah, of course.
ABT. Any levels, technicals there, longer term.
ADT?
AB, as in be up.
Oh, Abbott. All right, technically, I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah.
What's okay about it is if you look left on the chart. So this is an area of support in the face of bad or downward trending technicals. So can you catch it for a pop? Maybe you can catch it for a pop back up to maybe the 21. So call it $100. Maybe you get a pop up to 104.5. The 200 is at 106. So maybe you get a pop into that area. So if it's trading between, call it 116 and 94, which is, you know, you're at the bottom. You could definitely take some risk looking for a pop to the upside. And if it were me,
below is basically what you get.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold it below 96.5.
Right.
All right. Interesting markets here. The S&P now for about 19 handles at 43.18. The Dow up 29 points.
All right, so nothing really crazy going on here. Just a little retrace. You got anti-VIX a little heated, so it should cool off. VIX stopped selling, not really ripping. Credit still looks okay. Are the big names selling off? Anything in particular selling off? I'm not
Well,
really
I'm looking at this Boeing, and Boeing is, this is a weekly chart, so it's a long-term view. So if I look at the extreme low that dates back to Tesla's crossing down, I'm going to take a look at that in a minute. It dates back to March of 2020. So, what did I do? I looked at a Fibonacci from this high, which was February of 2019, to this low, which is March of 2020. The stock is still trading within that Fibonacci zone. And this green line that you see is anchored to these lows. So this is an area of interest to me. And I would think that Boeing at a minimum comes to test this area. That's my opinion. So if I look at the daily on it, that's a minute. If I look at the daily on this, all right, paint the line. So that brings me to 180, let's just call it 185, 186. So if you're in this, you're at 191. I mean, I feel comfortable on pops to take it for a short and see if this area gets tested. And if they test this area and it holds, it's not a bad idea for a short-term pop trade. It's also not a bad idea to look at it and say, okay, could we potentially flush the rest of the way out and, go test these lows down here at 121. But Boeing is tricky, and it is still, from a technical perspective, inside of a range, but these technicals are not good. So you got earnings coming October 25th, not that far away. I in my opinion, they let it drift down to here and test this area at a minimum.
Nasdaq still carrying things like that. UNG.
Let's go look at the Tesla rejection.
The banks are dipped into the red. XLF.
I'm so bad at banks. All right, so Tesla, VWAP, and bounce. This might not be a bad spot to look for a bounce. I'm a little late now because I was running my mouth.
You're like the squawk guy.
I'm like the squawk guy. But that's a better entry than I was, messing around up here. That's a better place to wait for.
Google some October out of the money calls. GOOGL. Google.
Google.
It must be cheap, right? 67 cents. Some cheapies.
Let's see if I can mark that. Action is just not clean today.
Yeah, the little excitement off the open, but that, as usually is the case, and then post-economic data, things settling in here.
It's like a hangover.
We'll see the true players now, if there's any buyers that come in that are interested. Not looking just for a quick squeeze.
Okay, so now if they bust this VWAP, this might not be a bad put trade. So that's trading, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Evaluate, evaluate, evaluate. Do you have a trade? Do you not have a trade? That's what we do.
Bob and weave, stick and move, stick and move.
Yep. See, I'm going to try some puts here and see if some puts on the Tesla here are going to have follow through below the VWAP.
Citigroup CEO just saying that their chief economist is expecting one more Fed rate hike in November, and she thinks there could be one more beyond that, but it's data dependent.
PLTR completely faded that rip off the open, and you have a little more of that October 13th, 16 and a half flow.
Not a huge surprise.
Let's see. Where's the volume on there? October, what is it? 13th. October 13th. It's a different line, I guess.
Group CEO now concluding her interview on CNBC.
Here's the actual PLTR. You had some weeklies, as I mentioned earlier, closing out. And it looks like you got some buying on a few of these early October lines. So I'm sure some of it rolls. The weekly 17 and a halves, those close. 16 and a halves, weeklies, those close. So again, at least a partial roll there.
I'm up a whopping $100 today, Jay.
Take it and go.
Call it a day. You're good.
Okay, throw a symbol in there. What are they buying here? Comcast, April's.
Can't do it. Too emotional.
Comcast.
Just keeping you up to speed on this fluid situation on the UAW. Reportedly, President Fain indicating they received a flurry of interest from companies, and he has postponed his Facebook Live announcement thus far, although we have seen reports and expectations are generally that they will announce new strike facilities at all three of the major Detroit OEMs.